In this section, we're going to deal with measurement. When we measure something, we're simply comparing it with standards. So we can say measurement is simply comparison with a standard. Comparison with a standard. And the standard with which the comparison is made is called a unit. For example, if we take length, the standard for length is called meter. The standard for the measurement of length is meter. So when we say the length of something is 2 meters, all we're saying is the length of that object is twice the standard that we call the meter. Now next we're going to look at systems of units. There are two systems of units in common use. They're called the British system and the SI system. Now the British system is a system based on the foot and pound, and the system that's being used in the United States. The SI system is the system used for scientific purposes. So in this course, we're not going to use the British system, we're going to use the SI system. So let's look at the SI system. First of all, the abbreviation SI stands for the French word Système International. Now, the SI system is a system whose standards are kept in the SI office in France. Now, there are two kinds of units. They're called fundamental units and derived units. So first, let's look at fundamental units. These units are the units whose standards are kept in the SI office. In other words, they are the units upon which every other measurement of physics depends upon. These units are: the unit for length is fundamental, is called the meter and abbreviated by small m. The unit of mass is fundamental, is called the kilogram, abbreviated by kg. And the unit of time is also fundamental, is called the second, abbreviated by small s. These three units are called the fundamental units of mechanics, which means any unit in mechanics can be expressed in terms of these units. But also we have fundamental units in other disciplines of physics. For example, in electricity and magnetism, we have the unit of current. It's called ampere and abbreviated by capital A. In the study of thermodynamics or heat, we have the unit of temperature. Is called degree Kelvin. Degree Kelvin is abbreviated by small circle K. So these are the fundamental units of physics. That means any unit in physics can be expressed in terms of this 5 units. And then let's look at derived units. Derived units. These are units that can be expressed as a combination of fundamental units. In other words, they're combinations of fundamental units. For example, let's take speed, or average speed is defined to be distance divided by time. So the unit of speed is the unit of distance, which is meter, divided by the unit of time, which is second. So this unit is a derived unit because it's made up of the unit of length and the unit of time. You can take density. Density by definition is mass divided by volume. Okay. The unit of mass is a kilogram. The unit of volume is meter cubed. So you see, this is a combination of the fundamental units of mass and length, so it is a derived unit. Next, we're going to look at abbreviations of powers of 10. Abbreviations of powers of 10. In physics, quite often we deal with very, very big measurements or very, very small measurements. For example, in atomic physics, we deal with very, very small measurements. In astronomy, we deal with very, very big measurements. So because of that, we're going to need abbreviations for power of 10. Let's start with the smaller powers of 10. Centi, it's abbreviated by C. It simply means 1 over 100, or 10 to the power of negative. That's all it means. And then we have the milli, abbreviated by small m, is equal to 1 over 1,000, or times 10 to the power of negative 3. We have the micro, which is abbreviated by the Greek letter mu. That one simply means 1 in a million, or 10 to the power of negative 6. And then we have the nano, abbreviated by small n. That means 1 in a billion, or 10 to the power of negative 9. Okay, so these are common abbreviations for small measurements. We have also abbreviations for large measurements. Let's start with kilo. Kilo, abbreviated by K, simply means 1,000, or 10 to the power of 3. And then we have the mega, abbreviated by capital M. It simply means a million, or 10 to the power of 6. And then we have the giga, which is abbreviated by capital G. It simply means a billion, or 10 to the power of 9. So whenever we see the symbols, you can replace them by these numbers. That's all they mean. Okay.